Trustee Holmes. Okay. On the motion to appoint Trustee House Mayor Pro Tem, Trustee Dunn.
You gonna say it?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Okay, if you want to.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, we're going to jump right into the agenda, so we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could remain standing, I'm going to ask Elder Creighton if he'll lead us in prayer.
Every head bowed and every eye is closed. Our Father and our God, thank you for just the privilege of seeing another day. We ask, oh God, that you would bless the trustees, mayor, all those that you've called to serve this great town that we reside in. Now, God, may all things be done decent and order, considering all the residents of Dolton. Now, have your perfect will and way, for you continue to do all things well. And it's in Jesus' name that we pray. And all the people said, Amen.
Okay, next up on the agenda, we're going to be administering the oath of office of a promotion to Detective Marlon Harris, who is being promoted to a sergeant. So, Madam Clerk, if you will, please.
Did she make it here? Hold it. Hold the bottom. Push the bottom. Turn it on for us.
I will hold this in front of you, Detective Harris, since this is your moment. So if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Marlon Harris,
I, Marlon Harris,
having been appointed to the office of police sergeant
having been appointed to the office of police sergeant
in the village of Dolton,
in the village of Dolton,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of police sergeant,
of the office of police sergeant,
village of Dolton,
village of Dolton,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Sir, congratulations.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is general announcements. Any announcements?
Yes, I have one.
Okay. Okay. We'll go Administrator Scott, then Trustee Henry.
Good evening, everyone. So we recently received money, grant money. It was Senator Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth's office this past Monday, actually June 10th. They did a press release announcing over $19 million that Dolton will be receiving for a project that I was working on last year before I left, called the WA11 Dolton Interlocking Upgrade. So I have someone here from SSMMA, South Suburban Mayors and Managers, Leslie Femster, if you could please come up. So I just wanted to let you know the CREATE project, which stands for Chicago Region Environmental and Transportation Efficiency Program. It's a partnership that includes the City of Chicago, the State of Illinois, the U.S. Department of Transportation, Cook County, Metra, Amtrak, and some of the nation's freight railroads. And it's designed to eliminate freight rail and motor vehicular bottlenecks, boost the economy of northeastern Illinois, and improve the overall safety environment of the region. So I think it was about the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, Leslie, when we started working on this project. And it's great to come back to Dolton and to actually see one of the projects come to fruition. So Leslie, I'll let you talk more about the project, and if anyone has any questions, you can answer that at the time. Thank you.
Thank you. So the railroads have a big joke. They say it takes 3 days.
Speak into the mic, man, please. Pull the mic closer to your mouth.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Pull it to the mouth. Pull it to your mouth.
I lose my personality when I have a microphone, so I'll try my best not to do that. Railroads have a joke. They say it takes 3 days to get to Chicago and 3 days to get through Chicago. So this is one of the problems that's been issues, is all of these different interlocking. So right here there are 7 railroads and 10 at-grade crossings within a mile and a half. And you all are the most amount of at-grade crossings and the smallest amount of anywhere in the United States. So this is a very special place right here, and everyone is recognizing that. And that's why they're bringing these funds here. So these CRISI funds that were awarded, the $19 million, it's to make trains go faster through this interlocking that's right there by the old Village Hall and the fire department and the library on Lincoln Avenue. So when they make those trains go faster, they obviously need to do upgrades to all of those intersections. So the trains are going to be going faster, but they're also going to be stopping less. And they're going to be able to make improvements around other things. So there is some land that they will need to be acquiring, and also safety improvements at all those crossings. So the Village of Dolton and Riverdale, since you have so many at-grade crossings in one spot, applied for an Invest in Cook grant with us, South Suburban Mayors and Managers. And we were awarded for that. We are in the process of that study, and we are looking at every single one of those grade crossings and looking at ways that we can improve them. So we are going to be having an open house here coming real soon at the end of the summer, beginning of fall, where we would like you all to come out and be able to tell us what your issues are, what we can do to make it better, because we don't know this community and the trains like you do. We need your expertise. We need you at the table to be there to come and help us. So this is a fantastic thing that's going to make it safer. It's going to make trains move faster. It's going to make them not stop as long, and help improve the quality of life around all of these railroad tracks. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
So when they stop, they won't just stop and stay there 10 or 15, 20 minutes, right?
So that's the goal, yes. And this, by having all of this construction going on and the railroads involved with it, they are going to have an open house for what it is that you'd like. So you can go out there and say, these are the improvements we need here, whether it's an overpass or an underpass, whatever it might be in any one of these locations. This is your opportunity to do it, because the price will be very small compared to what it would be if you were to go out and do it yourselves, having the railroads do that cost. So that's the goal, yes, is no more stop trains.
So creating an overpass is an option?
It depends. So Cottage Grove is already slated for an overpass or underpass. That's not decided yet. And in the recent capital bill from the governor, they are funding all of the CREATE programs, which that would be a piece to that, is the Cottage Grove grade separation, which is 23A, if you look at the CREATE program on the, I'm not sure if that's listed on the back of this piece of paper. But that is another one of their options that they have.
So I can, at the next board meeting, I'll provide this for you also. This goes into detail about 138th and Cottage for the overpass or underpass that's going to be decided, what is going to be put in that area. And we're also looking at quiet zones. There's a lot of things that go into this study. We found that there are some quiet zones that were grandfathered in. So it's a process, but we're going to start taking the steps to implement those quiet zones back into the neighborhoods in our community. And hopefully, because this is known as Dolton Junction, there's more trains that pass through this suburb than any other suburb in Illinois. I was told that every single train in the entire country passes through Dolton. So that's why we were able to get this money. And we're going to continue to bringing more money in, grants, and doing things to move the village forward. So if you don't have it, and $19 million is a lot of money.
Sure is.
So thank you, Leslie.
Can I just say one more thing? So since I have your attention, we are also bringing bicycle wayfinding signage to the village of Dolton. They were awarded a grant through the Cook County Department of Public Health to be able to get that. So we'll be talking about more about that at the open house. Yeah. For the signage or the interlocking? Yeah, well, the signage is, we're just purchasing the signage, so the village would be the ones who are installing it. And then the interlocking, I really can't say because it's IDOT that is the one that's in charge of it.
And that 19 million, who much oversee that in this village?
Well, IDOT and the railroads and Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways are going to be the ones who are doing all of the actual work on the interlocking. But it's very important for you to be a part of the process so that you can tell them what it is that you'd like to see here.
And I'm in the process. We're going to work together to set the date for the open house. We'll be sure to let everyone know to come out to participate in the workshop, okay? And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me also in the meantime.
Can I answer it?
I had a question about that. See, that's been proposed for over 20 years, that overpass in Cottage Grove.
Mm-hmm.
They had over 8 different surveys on it. Then when they came through and put the new sewer system in White Cottage Grove, I talked to the people who were putting it in, they said it's not even in a proposal. And this has been going on for over 20 years.
So,
The reason they wanted to do it is because the people who live in the valley are interlocked by the trains. Their trains get there. Dalton proposed this during the Shaw administration where he wanted to put in another fire department over down on 138th Street. And the cost of putting it in was too expensive, but they were going to put the overpass in order to alleviate it. That never happened.
so
We've heard a lot of this before.
the CREATE program is the one who identified Cottage Grove, and you can go onto the CREATE website and it'll tell you all about it. It's actually called GS 23A, grade separation 23A, and then the recent capital bill, there was funding for all of these. So it's really going to be a matter of when the governor gives that funding and releases those monies.
When we had the Economic Planning Commission in 2013, and that was all proposed, nothing was ever done about it.
Well, I can't speak to before me, but I can speak to what is going on right now. Thank you.
With that being said, good news. Thank you, Administrator Scott and the administrative team for your hard work on that. Next thing, Trustee Henyard, I believe you had an announcement.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. FYI, my birthday's tomorrow. I will be 26. But I really wanted to announce Taste of Homeless. It will be hosted at Dolton Park this Saturday. So if you guys don't have anything to do, you want to come out, you want to help or anything, reach out to myself, 708-297-6859. I will be out there. Good Burger will be on the scene with burgers, giving out for free. It's a free event. You don't have to pay for anything. It is hosted by Michael Earhart and Social Works. It's Taste for the Homeless. It will be, again, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., all ages, and they also give away clothes, shoes, things of that nature. So y'all might want to come. If you know somebody in need that's struggling in Dolton, it might be a little shame to come forward. Tell them to come to that event. They can find me. I will be there, or anybody else. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that announcement. The next is Clerk Dugan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Trustees, on your desk, you have an application for Tag Day. This is a revised application that was previously submitted in between board meetings by Illinois Thunder, which is girls basketball, I believe. Don't hate me, Illinois Thunder, if I got that wrong. Out of Lansing, based in Lansing. They had initially requested a Tag Day event in Dolton on Saturday and Sunday last weekend. Because the board was not meeting, we could not get sufficient approval, so they have been kind enough to ask if they may have one of the following two tag dates instead, either both Saturdays, July 6th, 2019, or August 10th, 2019. In the past, the board has approved these by vote, but also by consensus. So if I can get a consensus of the board members to approve one of those proposed dates, I would appreciate it. I should say that Illinois Hustle Basketball, which had been approved by the board by a vote, will be out this weekend. And 2 weeks ago, Dolton Elite Basketball was out. So we've had, this past weekend, no approved tag days. So going forward, I do expect that Dolton Elite or Illinois Hustle or someone else may possibly request dates. So I would ask that if the board is so inclined to approve another tag day, that they do it for Illinois Thunder now rather than later, before other organizations come in and request time. Either one is for Saturday, July 6th or August 10th.
I'm okay with either day, and I'll follow your recommendation on July 6th.
I would suggest July 6th only because I do expect that there will be follow-up requests for later in the summer.
So I'll see Trustee Denton, your thoughts?
I'm in agreement with July 6th as well. That is the holiday weekend, but that should be fine.
Trustee Steve.
I'm agreeing with July 6th.
Trustee Brown.
I'm agreeing with July 6th.
Okay. Trustee Holmes.
Go with the 6th.
Trustee Henyard.
I agree. I just want people to watch the kids as they run in between the cars.
For sure, each time anybody requests, they are not only issued a license that they must have present, but they are also given the board's safety guidelines that if, the police are authorized to pull them off if they're not following.
Yeah, sometimes they don't have a person there. That's why I'm mentioning it.
They typically have a person there, but I would say that you have to look for them, which I don't think is, the intention of the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that conclude it, Madam Clerk?
One more, briefly. Just to remind everyone, including myself, that the Board of Trustees meeting schedule is approaching the summer months. So this is the Committee of the Whole on June 17th. For July and August, the board has scheduled one meeting for each month. So the next scheduled board meeting, and this is before the board returned to the Committee of the Whole format, the next scheduled board meeting is the third Monday of July, which is July 15th. And because bills need to be paid and business needs to be taken care of, I'm going to assume that will be a regular voting board meeting. And then in August, the next meeting will be August 5th, which is the first Monday of the month. And then we'll return to the regular schedule on September 3rd, which is the day after Labor Day, so we're still not quite there. So please be mindful of the upcoming board meetings because they're a little bit different than the regular schedule until we get into September. So again, the next regular scheduled meeting is July 15th, August 5th, and then September 3rd. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. I also do have two quick points. One is I would like to announce that I will be hosting a 4th of July picnic for the village of Dolton. Non-residents are welcome, but on the 4th of July from 12 to 3 o'clock in Dolton Park, there will be food, music, face painting for the children, as well as dominoes and cards for the adults. So I hope that all will come out, have some lunch with us before going off to see your safe firework displays. From 12 to 3, I hope to have flyers. However, those are still in the works. So if anybody would like information, please just text info to 708-414-0719. The number again, 708-414-0719. That will be on the 4th of July. Next announcement, or just next thing for consideration, I think we want to take a moment for those who may or may not have been aware. Our mayor did suffer another loss in his family, so I did want to take just a moment of silence so that we can acknowledge and pray for the family, please. Thank you all. So with that, we're going to move forward with the agenda if there are no other announcements.
I have one.
Yes, please, Trustee Holmes.
Yes. Good evening. On Saturday, June the 29th, RBS Drone Technologies will be here at the Village Dolton Park District from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they will be here just to introduce and show how 16-year-olds can attain a license to fly drones, not just 16-year-olds, adults too. It's about public safety, police and fire, building inspection, delivery, and employment. They will be here inside Dolton Park District, 721 Ingle Street, from 11 to 1 p.m. Once again, they will have their drones here, their teachers here, and show them how to register to come in and get training to license them up to fly drones. And all of our kids throughout the city or state are not interested in guns, not interested in shooting people. So we can all come together, even the adults, come in and try to get your license or either register to get your license because they're going to be delivering medicine and everything else, even food, with these drones through the technology. So I had a meeting with them and they agreed to come Saturday, June the 29th. I'll have some flyers at the back of the table toward the end of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Trustee Holmes. So now we'll ask will that conclude announcements? Any other great things going on? Okay, with that, we're going to move into the agenda. The first order of business, Resolution 19R-010. This was the resolution that we put in place and we tabled at the last meeting because initially it said transfer of TIF funds to the corporate funds. We indicated that we would reword it to more accurately state that we are authorizing a reimbursement of administrative fees to our general funds, and there will be no transfer whatsoever. But what this will do is create a decrease in the overall debt that our general fund owes to the TIF fund. So with that, I'm just going to open it up for any questions from the board if the rewording makes sense, and then I also would ask during citizens address if there's any questions that be proposed. But we wanted to make sure we were consistent with the items we said in previous meetings. No questions? Okay, so if I can, I just want to see if I can get a consensus to move this forward to the next voting meeting. Trustee Denton?
I concur.
Trustee Steve? Aye. Trustee Brown?
Aye.
And Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Wonderful. The next, Oh, I'm sorry, myself, trustee House, yes. Okay, the next thing on is ordinance number 19-014. It's it's an addendum to our nuisance ordinance. And this one, the addended items, we have places within the village where we have individuals who are utilizing their home address to do extensive car repairs and do car business as if they're a mechanic, but they're doing it from their home address. So what this addendum would allow us to do would be that we can ticket and fine and make sure that we are not clogging up residential streets with commercial activity. So that's the addition that we put into the nuisance ordinance that has previously been approved. So with that, I'll ask if there are any questions of the board.
I just have one thing. In the actual verbiage, it specifies front yard, public sidewalk, front parkway, or in the street abutting any residential property, but it does not specify driveways. Can that be added, or is that something that we don't care if it's in the driveway, that they're doing this?
My thought, it can be added, I guess, if the board and the residents think that's what we should do. Driveways, I would imagine would hold 2 to 3 cars. So if they have it in their driveway, it wouldn't be as much of a nuisance. However, it can get out of control, as I think maybe your point. So I'll ask thoughts from any other board member.
Is the driveway, that's part of their private property, right? We have to take into consideration that, that is private property.
Good point, Trustee Holmes. So with that, I'll just kind of ask to see if the board would like to move this item forward to the next voting meeting.
Excuse me.
Yes,
You
Trustee
include
Brown?
driveways, or that wasn't included?
It's not included.
It's not included. I believe Madam Clerk is kind of advising that it may not be permissible under the
So they are
village's authority.
They are allowed to repair vehicles on their private property, which is the driveway.
Correct.
Well,
Can I be recognized?
If I may be forced, just to clarify, front yard might be construed to include a driveway, since you have front yard and parkway, so those are 2 different things. So when I hear front yard, I'm thinking on my grass in front of my house, not my driveway. But I think it would be better to clearly express the intent of the board if it wishes to include driveways. And some of us have, not me, have changed oil or done something else in our driveways with our vehicles, or worked on them. Again, not me, but and the intent of the board, of course, is to avoid a business.
I understood. So, Trustee Holmes?
Yeah, let's relook at this, because you have some driveways that go all the way up into the back of some of the residents' homes, and then at some point we don't want to take away the way people make their money and pay their bills. That's private property. We need to relook at it, and it is their driveway. So at some point we have to respect the residents.
Okay. So your suggestion is that we hold off until another meeting?
Yeah, I say we hold off and relook at this, because that's a very touchy situation, because them taxpayers, they bought them homes, and that driveway came with that home. So we have to look at this. So we just can't look at forcing them out or stopping them from doing business. But if they're going to do business, it has to be in a legal way, but not to push them all the way out their driveway. That's their property.
Point well taken. I understand. Thank you.
Thank you for that input. So, and Madam Clerk suggested as well, which I think makes sense, maybe we do table it to a committee. I believe, is that Trustee Steve, your public works?
May I be recognized?
Oh, yes, please, Trustee Steve.
I want to add that also the alleys. Sometimes people work on cars in the alleys, so we have to look at that as well. So if we can add that as well, that'd be good.
Okay. Would it be all right then if we put that in your committee for like rewording and revisiting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I still ask, with this being on the agenda, residents, please do chime in during citizens' address, as we want to get feedback from everyone as well. So that item will not move forward to the next board meeting. However, it will go to a committee. And we'll move along to the next the next item on the agenda, which is rescinding of ordinance number 19-003 prohibiting water shutoffs on Fridays, and that's Trustee Steve.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for coming out. I put this on the agenda to discuss it. That's the benefits of committee of the whole, is that we discuss it and we can get input from the residents. I looked at the reality of a majority of residents pay their water bills, but I don't think we should govern to the minority. If they have a problem, we work out water bills. I found out that when somebody gets their water cut off, on average, they're 6 months behind. And when they get their water bill, they get a 20-day grace period. On top of the 20-day grace period, they get 10 extra days. So that person hasn't paid their water bill in almost half a year. So I feel that we should cut off between Monday and Friday, not 7 days a week, but Monday through Friday. And then moving forward, we're going to include other things to improve the water department. I have to commend Administrator Scott and Janice for the stuff that they're doing to improve the water department. But I put this on there to discuss it, to get input from my fellow board members and also from the public, the residents, because I don't think we should govern to the minority. There's a small portion of people who run into hardships, and I'm not being inhumane, because people do run into hardships and hard times, but that's why they have payment plans. People come in here all the time and get a payment plan. I've seen it happen. When you run into hardships, you come here and say, look, I'm dealing with A, B, C, and D, and I need to pay this, and they work it out. But to create an ordinance, across the board ordinance just for Fridays, I just don't agree with that, because if that's the case, we should give all the residents who pay their water bill on time something, because that's the vast majority of residents. So I don't think this will be good for us. I think moving forward, we do Monday through Friday, not 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. And if you have a hardship, because that happens, you come in here and you get a payment plan, and you get on that payment plan and you get it fixed. And it happens all the time. So that's why I put this on the agenda. I would take any input from the board.
Okay. Any thoughts on the board?
Yes, definitely.
Trustee Henry, please.
Thank you. As you guys know, I wrote this law right here that he wants to rescind to protect you, the residents. As you guys know, the village is messed up. And when I say messed up, that water department has a ton of issues. I do not feel that we should turn your water off Monday through Friday. I feel that you can get your water turned off Monday through Thursday. That way, you have the opportunity to come here and pay your bill. If we turn your water off on Fridays, which I had this argument already, and Trustee Steves was the cameraman when we talked about this, and the entire board agreed to only turn your water off Monday through Thursday. So if with Friday come and we turn your water off, how would you be able to pay your bill? The problems we had in the past, you guys, is when y'all turn the water off on Friday, when Matt and them go out, they do not turn your water back on Saturday. Sunday, you ain't got no water. Monday, it was a holiday for most people, MLK Day. I got a ton of complaints. They still didn't turn the water back on Tuesday. So explain to me how we going to go and turn your water off on a Friday and you have no opportunity to pay your bill to get it back on. I think that is not human. I think that people do make mistakes and they should have the opportunity to pay their bill. If they don't have the opportunity to pay the bill, why turn it off? We have to fix in-house first before we just keep on pushing all these laws on you guys. Our house is screwed up, period.
May I be recognized, Mayor Pro Tem?
If I can, I want to maybe just a little. On that one, I think there are some challenges. I wouldn't say our house is screwed up. We do have people that are working very hard to fix it, but we do have challenges in the water department. I think the difference on this one, and I'll just state my opinion, and Trustee Steve, please. We're talking about the difference of 1 day. My belief is that one extra day, I would like to give that benefit to the resident. Recognize that they do have 6 months. They are delinquent and they've had some challenges. I believe that one extra day we can allow and cut, and we'll shut it off on Monday. But having said that, it is feedback from the residents as well as the board. Trustee Steve, please.
I would like to thank you for the input from the fellow trustees. Again, I would like to say that keep in mind that these people are almost, if you get if you don't pay your bill in January, as it's set up right now, you won't get your water cut off till August. That's 8 months. So you're telling me we all fall into hardships, but when you fall in that hardship, you come up here and you get the payment plan, because that's just a small minority of people. I don't think we should govern to the small minority of people who run into the hardship. That's why we have payment plans. But for 6 months that you haven't paid a water bill, and what about the people who consistently pay it every 3 months? Every 3 months, what about them? So that's my stance on it. I think that you should cut off Monday through Friday, and then in my Public Works Committee, we're going to look at if if we cut off early Friday, you can still get it cut on in evening before the Public Works Department gets off. And we're also talking about hiring more Public Works people to stagger it out. So we're moving forward with this. That's what I think we should do. That's just my input.
Okay. Any other?
Yeah. Yes.
But if I may, just before you want to see if any other trustees want to chime in, I'll come back to you, Trustee Henry. Any feedback or?
I'm looking at this, and it's one day. One day. I mean, they've been 6 months delinquent. What's one more day? The weekend. They need water over the weekend. It's showing mercy. I mean, what's the problem?
Okay. Trustee Brown, Holmes, any thoughts?
Yeah, may I be recognized?
Yes, Trustee Holmes.
I just want to, for the record, it wasn't this board that voted for it. It was the old board. This is the new one. That's all I have to say.
Sure.
Can I have the floor?
Okay. Come on and see Trustee Brown if I had a pamphlet, and then I'll come right back to you, Trustee Henry. Oh, Trustee Henry.
I don't care if it wasn't this board or not. Y'all have to do what's right for the people. We can't just keep moving forward and y'all not thinking about the people. The people is the one that's gonna hurt. As you can see, we have a ton of issues that you should know about by you being a newly elected trustee. Matt do not make sure things are in order for they turn water off. They have turned people water off that should not even be on the turn off list, and they have to wait 2 to 3 days to get water turned back on. That's not right. And yet we over here fighting over one day. One day ain't gonna hurt nobody. Monday through Thursday, you turn off the water. Friday, at least they got to go pay their bill before the weekend, so they not 3 to 4 days without water. What's wrong with y'all? Like, have mercy on the people. We cannot keep doing that.
Okay. And all right, one quick moment I want to say. I think I'll keep coming back to the employees. I think the employees are doing as good a job as possible with our resources. So I'm trying to avoid singling out employees. However, having said that, we do have we do have some challenges, and we are working hard to fix them. That Trustee Steve, you had a comment?
Yes, I think 6 months, 8 months is a heck of a grace period. If you haven't paid your bill in 6 months, if I can go 6 months without paying the bill, and nobody calls me on it, that's heck of grace. That's heck of caring for people who are struggling, and that's why we have payment plans that you come in here and you get a payment plan. But we cannot, how can I say, we have to start holding people accountable. We have to, because there's a lot of residents who pay their water bill on time every 3 months. 6 months without paying a water bill, 8 months before it gets cut off. When you get this slip, it is a 20-day grace period. That's not grace. So what I'm saying is that grace happens. Grace is there, and that's what's been happening. So I think that's going to help get a lot more things in order. Because we have to, when I talk to department heads and I talk to people who actually do this, they were all in agreement that we need to cut it off Monday through Friday, period. And that's not being cold-hearted to the residents when you've had 8 months to make a payment.
Regardless if they got 8 months or not, the point is they can wait on a Friday. That's the point. You making them be able not to have the opportunity to pay their water bill. That's my issue. When can they pay the bill? If you cut it off on Friday, come Saturday, with the village not open. Sunday, the village not open. Monday, you better hope you get on the list.
Okay,
so that's my issue. They don't have the opportunity to pay.
So with that, if I can, I want Trustee Brown, and then we're gonna close this off. We want to get feedback from the residents, but we will take our consensus to see if we want to move it forward.
If it's possible, can we find out how many people take advantage of the payment plan? You know, you're doing shutoffs. How many people actually come in and say, yes, I'm having a problem. Yes, I need to be put on the payment plan. How many residents come and take advantage of the payment plan?
Okay. And our superintendent of public works, Matt, you had a comment?
There are some residents that come in and take advantage of the payment plan, and when they come in and take advantage of the payment plan, I'll get the phone call from Janice over here, and we'll go out and we'll get them turned on by the end of the day. Also, when the shut-off list is created, that's created at the water department, like I said before. If we get addresses on there that are incorrect, shouldn't be on there, and we shut them off, we do get them turned on right away. So it's not like people are shut off for paying their bill and we don't go back and turn them on. That's not true, because we have come out when Janice calls at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we do come back out and turn them back on. So people do take advantage of the payment plan. Also, if they're shut off in air, they do get turned on that same day.
Okay, thank you for that input. If I may, we're gonna do our consensus vote here. Residents, we want your opinion, and then keeping in mind as well, we'll see what direction we can go with this.
Trustee, I got
yes,
one point I want to make, and it's for the record.
Okay.
I have bills that you guys give me. I got at least 85 bills just like this. This individual got a bill, and it's for $388,000 for her water bill. She's a resident. So what I'm trying to tell you, I'm not making up stuff about our departments is not in order. That's why I advocate to not turn your water off on certain days. We have 4 days to pick and choose when we're going to turn your water off. But you should have the opportunity to come and get this fixed. For example, District 2 bills recently now just went out late. You guys don't even know that. And then when y'all got y'all bills, it was already due. So now you're on the shut-off list. How? Our department is not doing their jobs the correct way, so I cannot vote or advocate for a law when I know we need to fix our problems first. That's where I stand. That's for the record, Mary Kay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give one more,
Trustee
administrator.
Henyard, do you know why the bills went out late?
If I may.
It shouldn't go out late. It shouldn't
do you
be
know
the
why
reason
they
why
went
it
out
went
late?
out late.
Trustee, we want to
It
keep
is
everybody.
important why
Let's
it
go.
went out late, because the person who was previously the supervisor, I asked her, did she put the bills out? Janice, do you remember what day that was? Because Janice Johnson and I sat down and asked her, and she said that she had put the bills out. That was not true. The bills were not sent out by the former supervisor of the water department, trustee.
Well, I can't go back and forth with you over the former
We're not going
stuff
back and
because
forth, but when you say,
All right, if we may-
something,
Trustee,
that is
please.
not true, I have to speak to it.
I
And
think-
I did ask that person, that individual with Janice Johnson present, if the water bills were sent out. She said
They not
yes.
doing their job
You
over
know-
there,
But they
period.
were not
That's
sent
the
out.
problem.
They were not
So
sent
y'all
out.
can blame it on people that don't work here no more.
No.
We're not doing our job.
And we
resident.
did
That's
check.
it.
Hey, this is my
did
first
check.
time using the gavel. Hold on.
We did check. We did check the emails.
We ain't gonna have
and
order.
unfortunately,
Okay.
it wasn't sent
Put it in
out.
order then.
Okay,
Unfortunately,
administrator.
that was not. It wasn't sent out.
Understood.
And
Okay.
I did discuss that with Trustee House.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to bring it to our clerk Dugan, and then we're going to do the consensus vote, and we'll move forward. But we, as I think the residents can see, we definitely would like input here as well. So please, clerk Dugan.
Just point of clarification for the record, Trustee Henyard, the amount of the water bill that you quoted, I thought I heard you say 305,000.
No.
300
$388,000.
$388,000.
Yeah, I'll give you a copy. I got it right here.
For a resident.
Yes, for a resident. I have it. So I will definitely give you a copy.
388,000,000
Yep.
for a resident.
Yes. I have
Thank
the
you.
bill right in
Yes,
front of
please
me.
do give me a copy.
No problem.
All right. With that being said, we're going to do the consensus vote, if I can, to see if we want to move this forward. Trustee Denton.
No.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House. No. Trustee Brown.
Can we table this for further investigation? It's just some areas we need to investigate first, so I would want to table it.
You want to table it?
Yes.
Second.
Trustee Holmes.
I agree.
Agree to move it forward or agree
No,
to table?
agree to table it. Let's look at it. But I'm kind of agreeing with Trustee Steve. But for further looking at it, we can table it.
Okay, so at this point, our recommendation would be that we move forward. We want to keep mindful that the agenda is under the mayor's purview, so our recommendation is to table it. The mayor will move the agenda as he sees fit. Am I correct in that, Clerk Dugan?
Yes, at this time I understand we have 3 trustees who are in favor of tabling it and 3 trustees who are somewhat divided. So
Yeah,
at
my
this
vote is
point,
no on it. So
no? Okay.
No to do on Fridays. Shut up.
Okay, so I'll correct that. We have 3 noes, 2 tables, and 1 yes. So I would suggest it go to committee.
Okay. Which committee would that? Okay. Suggestion would be that this goes to committee. Okay. Thank you. Our next agenda item coming up is the update on Fire Station number 2. Trustee Henyard.
Thank you, thank you. I put this on the agenda, which I tried to last board meeting. The mayor removed it from the agenda. Now it made the agenda. I'm glad it is here because I like to keep you guys informed of what's going on in your town. Unfortunately, I got several calls about Station 2 being closed, and I wanted to know when did it reopen, which I didn't get an email saying it was reopened. And I got complaints from some residents who tried to get insurance and stated that some insurance carriers would not insure them because Station 2 was not open, and they felt that their investment will burn down because we would not get to the fire quick enough. So what I tried to do was just get an update to see where we stand. So I'm going to give the floor to Chief Dyer to explain to us what happened with the repairs and how much did it cost and where we stand currently. Chief Dyer.
Okay. Well, if I may, Chief Dyer, did you understand the questions or were the questions stated in a way? Okay. Yeah, please.
So Station 2, Stations 2 has been closed for a while now, but it did reopen in June. June 1st it reopened. June 1st it reopened. So there were a lot of things going on with Station 2. First of all, I received a letter from a fireman that was stating a few things that he felt that was wrong with Station 2. Exposed wires, lack of efficient walls, leaking urinals, rusted man doors, leaking roof, moisture behind walls and under carpet, rodents, animal infestation, and members having headaches, runny noses, sneezing, skin irritation, and difficulty breathing. So I forwarded this to the trustees at the time and the mayor, ordered it closed until we figured out what was going on with it. We had a company come out and do a air quality test. The air quality test came back positive it didn't come back indicating it was mold. So that was ruled out. We ran water in the drains, in the sinks and everything, but there was a smell in the house and we just couldn't figure out what it was. So I got with the trustees at the time over the police and fire committee and the mayor, and they were deciding on the other things that we needed to be done. So one of the big things was the roof was leaking, and the roof has been leaking for, like they said, 10 years. It's been a long time. So we have been doing a lot of patchwork to the roof. Instead of getting it fixed or redone, we did a lot of patchwork, and that was done by Scott, the maintenance guy. So at this time, we did a few estimates, and we did a few estimates on repairing the roof, on cleaning the firehouse, on getting rid of the rodents. So myself, at the time, Trustee Muhammad and Trustee Pearson went down to Station 2, and even Trustee Pearson himself had said that he remembers being in that house and hearing rodents run across the drop ceiling like this, right? So we were just walking around looking at different things. So they got involved, the mayor got involved, and it just kind of, it was a money thing. At that time, around that time, a little bit later, I think Scott got fired. So we didn't have our repairman. So we had to bid out the work. So in one of the last meetings that we had about the station, they asked me how long did I think it would take to get repaired, and I said a couple of weeks, and they laughed at me and said, no, I said a couple of months, and they said, no, it should take a couple of weeks, and they were going to, have some input and helping me find somebody to do the roof. So we only got one estimate. We got two. One of them had an estimate of $270,000. It was crazy. So we didn't go with that one. Then the mayor got involved, and he was going to find somebody. Well, he said he was telling me that he was finding somebody that was going to fix it at the time. So this story that I'm telling is how it started from all the way from the beginning to the end. So he was out looking, trying to find somebody to do the work. I was trying to find somebody, and the trustees were helping me find somebody to do the roofing work. We still had the exposed wires, the rodents, and the other little stuff around the firehouse, like the broken doors. The main thing was the roof and the rodents getting in. So without fixing the roof first, we had mold behind the walls, or possible mold behind the walls, mold in the carpeting because of the rain, right? So it would sit up top and it would come down the walls. So we wanted to get that done first. So that was most important. Then the winter came. So now the winter came and nothing happened because it was, it just didn't happen. And soon thereafter, it started, the ice started melting. And guess what? The pipes bursted in the firehouse. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise. So when the pipes burst, we went down, turned off the water. We had a lot of water damage, so they had an outside contractor come in and clean up this space. But in the meantime, in between time, myself and some of the firemen went down there. I was like, you know what? We're just going to go down here and take a look, clean it up a little bit. We found mice and mice traps full of mice, and I have pictures of this above the drop tile, right? So that was what they were probably smelling, and poisons. So whoever the company that was taking care of it, they had set the traps, but hadn't come back to, whatever. So we got the traps down, cleaned up. They fixed up the room, but we had water damages in the bunk rooms. That's where the firemen sleep. So we thought we were going to be able to save it, myself and Matt Stacy, and we put these humidifiers down and tried to suck up some of the water. We thought that was going to work. We waited a little while. It didn't work. We had a little bit of mold end up settling in. Scott came back to work. We got Scott down there to redo that part of it, redo the carpet or shampoo the carpet. He took the trim up. He did around the window. We looked behind the window sill and everything, made sure everything was good, and we opened Station 2 June 1st.
Okay.
That's my 3 minutes.
Take a deep breath, Chief.
So it was like a big, one thing happened after another, then winter came, it was real bad, and you can't get on the roof during the winter time, and then you had the road. It was just one big thing after another. I'm sorry.
So with that, the update is that the fire station 2 is open as of June 1st.
Station 2 is now open.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so Scott had done this patchwork, right? So the exposed wires, we're still working with the rodents. We tried to patch it up, right? He fixed the bottom of the doors. You can't keep them out if they want to get in. We know that. But the roof, so where it was leaking, Scott had patched that up, and we didn't know it was holding until it started raining so much after the winter. So now we know that the roof isn't the problem, but the outside of the building is where they're getting in. So that's the part we need to patch up. Right now the water is holding. I mean the roof is holding. No water is getting in, and they've been down there since June 1st, and nobody's complained of headaches, runny noses, sneezing, skin irritation, or there's going to be mice in there. But it was just that they were sitting right above where they sit and sleep and this and that. They had that poison. They had the little boxes. They had boxes full of mice, and I have pictures. So
Chief, I'm going to say we want to save the pictures.
I got it.
But I can ask if it is safe for your men over there.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Some people and I had this letter and I cut the guy's name out because a lot of guys got mad at this guy for writing this because they closed Station 2. I don't believe. I believe that he should have written what he wrote, and it wasn't a bad thing. But I don't want people to say, "Oh, he's just a crybaby" and all of this stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't want to. And I saw the mice, I saw the droppings, I saw the stuff, and Trustee Pearson also said he heard it when he was down there one time. So I knew it to be true. We just couldn't find out where it was coming from until we had the water leak, and the water was coming from above, and we started pulling the ceiling tile down, and boom, we started finding all these dead mice. At least 15 in one area.
Okay. Well. So we're open and safe as of June 1st. Am I
I'm going to say
correct?
we're open. Hopefully we're safe. I mean, we're safe as we can be right now. I mean, I can't say that there aren't any other mice or we didn't collect any more mice since that time. But we have someone coming out every month to put down new traps, put down new poison, and do whatever they're doing with the mice. And then, like I said, mice are going to get in, especially in the wintertime. They're going to get in. You can't stop them, especially when we have the overhead doors. The smallest crack, a mouse can get in the smallest of the cracks. And they said that at one time, the roof was so bad that they thought they had a raccoon in it. So, and I know that to be, I see people with raccoons in their attics all the time. So, hopefully we got that problem fixed. And
well, if I can, I want to ask two things. Trustee here, does that answer your update question, and I want to see if there's
yes,
check.
definitely.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
And I got one more thing to say.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update.
May I be
with that,
recognized before you move forward?
yes, sir. Trustee Holmes.
You know, it's all about safety and how you do things, and not the finger pointing. You residents, when you get time, go over there to that station. Take a look on the inside. It's a beautiful station. It was always safety first. And if I'm going to be working with the chief, if there's any tuck pointing that needs to be done on the outside, then I'll pay for that myself. But at the same time, I want the residents just to go over there and see how beautiful it is on the inside and how safe it is for yourself. I mean, we can talk and talk, but you all get up and go see it. It's open, and it's for your safety. Thank you.
That means you can come to Station 1 or Station 2 anytime you like. Station 1 or 2, because there's always somebody down there at Station 1 or 2. And if it's not someone down there, we can get somebody down there if they're on the run, because sometimes we only have 4 guys a day and they're out on the run. But if you want to come by a station, let me know, and we can go look at both of them.
Okay. Thank you for your feedback, Trustee Holmes. If no further comments, we will move forward to citizens' address. We do ask that everybody be mindful of those behind. I'm not going to be looking so much at the 3 minutes. If the questions are in depth, we'll get you with the right department, but we ask that we be mindful of one another. Thank you very much. And first up.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings in the name of the Almighty. I'm curious. That big old tree trash mountain, how can y'all help me? Help y'all understand? The people want that gone. And the reason I say the people want that gone, then none of the people in the community put that there. And the original origin, and you know I like grace, and I'm sorry for the mayor's loss. The original origin was by the instructions of the mayor. Even the mayor himself told us that it would be a violation of fines if any other person was caught putting anything there. Now what has happened is it's then opened the invitation for people to put mattress there. You can go on my website and see. They got wood there now, got all kind of garbage. It's becoming a garbage mound. The original origin says he put it there. Now it's a double whammy because the original origin must pay for it. He said the expenses would be too much, but unfortunately, he created that. So he must find a way, and if our loving board want to vote on it, y'all please do, because he must find a way to remove it. That lot has never been deemed for dumping. It is not a lot that has a temporary dumping. It's village property, but it's not deemed for that, you know, and that's been there for a while. So I believe that should be put on the agenda real soon to be moved, because it smells when it gets raining. And the people that got all them houses y'all talking about right here in Dolton, they don't deserve that. And you know, I try to always do things very appropriate, but it's too many times I've called. Now, my new board, I'm like this. I ain't taking nothing from the old board. Old don't do me no good at all. I like the present, current, and now, the blinking and breathing here, right now. And I like this house. I spoke about this before. Now, I know y'all can't see it, and I didn't have enough time to get it to the video. This house is off that curve when you come down Lincoln. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know who these owners are. I've been out here 31 years. I've never, ever seen this house sighted. Now people are dumping couches alongside this house. Ooh, I don't want y'all to hear my personal opinion. People, I walked past there yesterday. People have dumped couches beside that house. Now it's bad enough that he don't want to accommodate this village. That's the same house that 4 years ago, I had to come and had the village work with me to extract all his dogs. He was letting his dogs out on the children. Now we don't have that no more. Now his tree work, all that, his fence. He got a garage that is actually getting ready to fall in one of our alleys. If we have another bad storm, it's going to hit the alley.
We have reached the 3-minute mark.
Okay.
I made it to the 3-minute mark already? You wouldn't mess with me, would you?
Thank you. Mr. Creighton.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and trustees and residents. I want to first of all thank you all that had the courage to stand and say, with your heart, let's extend one more day of benevolence to the citizens. Who knows? You know, maybe that one day might make a difference to someone. Also, I think Trustee Steve, you said that the majority of the residents pay their water bill. Is that correct? Okay. Well, let's not forget that the majority of us that paid our water bill and sometimes strained to pay our water bill, when it got here, Chicago wasn't paid. Okay. So now you're asking everybody with a tax to pay that water bill. So I think that if we're going to pay it again, you can show one day of benevolence to someone. It may make a difference. I think you owe the residents that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for your comment.
Good evening, Board. My name is Brenda Thomas. I stay at 510 Jefferson in Dolton, Illinois, right off between Pennsylvania and Jefferson. It's used to be a Riverdale auto body shop. I ain't gonna tell you what I call it. I call it the end shop. All the undesirables, the smell that comes out that place, the banging and clanging. I work every day. I come home, 10 o'clock at night, it's still open. Cars everywhere. Undesirables come in the neighborhood, walking through the alley, talking on the phone, cussing. You know, I've been out here 25 years, and I fought for 22. And I'm tired. This has to stop. When do they close? When? Who signed off on it? Somebody had to sign off on it. And I'm tired. Something has to be done. When do they close up?
And this is on, this is 510 Jeffrey.
I live at, it's on 142nd and Penn.
You're asking about the body shop. What time do they close? Because
Yeah,
they're
what
there
time they
at all
close? They
times of
open
night.
up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they close at 10 o'clock at night. This is 7 days out of 7 days. The banging, the clanging, and the smell that come out, that I got to deal with the train, the horn. I got to deal with that. I've been dealing with that for a long time. Okay, ain't nothing y'all can do about that, because I claimed to Mayor Shaw when he was there. It's nothing you can do. So now here come the Riverdale Auto Body Shop. I mean the old Riverdale Auto Body Shop. I don't know what they call it, but I know what I call it. It just don't make no sense. And they be out there using all kinds of language. And my front yard, my backyard, my house is at an angle, and I hear every word they say.
And now, if I can, ma'am, I spoke with Trustee Holmes, and he'll work with the police chief on coming up with a resolution. So if you would like, after this meeting, please
I called the police. He had a little round thing looking at him, pulling up at 10 o'clock. It's looking like this. Yeah, it is busy out there. But ain't nothing they can do because it's not against the law.
Well, let's do this. I want to talk with you after this here, because, see, you finna get some sleep, and I can guarantee you that. So
Thank you.
we'll talk to you before I leave here. You finna get some sleep.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. And another thing, the fire department. I praise you guys, because I had a house fire. And whoever this guy was, he was a Caucasian guy, and he bent over to me and said, Miss Thomas, are you all right? He had the beautiful teeth I ever seen in my life. And I still think about it.
And now, Miss, are you
Beg your pardon? Yes. Yes, you were. Yes.
So,
but he's the one that leaned over me.
So, are you thinking for the fire being fixed or his teeth? Please.
Trustee Steve, you need to reconsider shutting people's water off on Fridays. The reason I say that is because when I first came to Dolton, and ever since I've been at my house, I was not at a zero balance. I ended up paying the previous person's water bill. And I'm still 64 units behind on my water bill. And I had 3 bills that were adjusted, but that was because I wasn't at that number yet. or you know, and it's like you need to look at, there needs to be someone to look at people's water bills. You know, I pay someone else's and I'm paying mine. You know, I know I'm not the only person, you know, and you're willing to shut people's water off, and it's over $9 million that hasn't been paid to the city. I don't think that anyone in Dolton should be paying money to Dolton as it pertains to water bills, period. We should be paying our money to another service or another entity. I was told to bring $1,000 cash into the water department when I could have swiped my debit card. And then I come in, you don't accept cash at all. So before you start, you know, saying you're going to make these things happen, you need to definitely take a look at the water department, period. And people, you need to pay attention to your water bills. If it looks high, if your reading looks funny, get a copy of your meter reading. See what your meter reading was and track that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the comment.
And I'm sorry. I was curious. Over across the street here at this store, how they get 4 o'clock license? I've been out here 31 years. How they get licensed to stay open until 4 o'clock? We know we don't want nobody drinking to that time o'clock in the morning.
We'll check on it. Okay. Yes, sir.
I would like to ask the senior trustees to answer first, and then the freshman trustees. The senior trustees, as far as, no correction, the freshman trustees, as far as vote total. So this way you know who received the most votes.
Sir,
total.
if I may, those who are on the board who would like to chime in, feel free to chime in. But
Since I'm asking the question,
yes, sir.
It's important that it's answered in this manner, sir.
Okay.
As trustees,
Speaking to the mic.
as trustees, what are the 3 most important issues facing Dolton today as you see it? My second question is, as trustees, what is your 3 biggest accomplishments? I had a question for the mayor, but since he's not here, I'll bypass that. Thank you. So I believe Trustee Henry will probably be the first one.
If I may, sir, this was explained in previous meetings. Citizens' address is not intended as a question and answer period. It's for the, sure, but the trustees are certainly free to speak with you after and at any time during their deliberations on issues, but the citizens' address is not an individual question and answer period. The questions will certainly be on the answer, and if the trustees wish to address it either after the meeting or even during future meetings, they are certainly at liberty to do so.
So is that a new law, or?
No, it's always been.
That we can't answer a resident when they ask a question?
There's nothing that says you cannot answer, but there is nothing that requires trustees to answer, and the purpose of citizens' address as defined by the statute is for the citizens to make the comments, and answers and deliberation are reserved to other portions of the meeting or after the meeting.
I'll answer your questions. It was, what 3 things? Number 1, crime is ridiculous. 2, water department and corruption.
I'll say this.
Well, I fight for you guys always as far as the water bills. I try to make sure those are lowered. I did not raise your water bills nor your tax bill. And I always advocate for the people no matter what.
Okay. That being said, anybody else want to chime in, or? Okay. Well, sir, we free to. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, residents, trustees, and officials. I have, I guess, a concern or whatever, since we're talking about the water bills and everything. One of the things is, I'd like to know, why would you get an estimated water bill for more than 1 month or any month if you have one of those little gadgets on the outside of your house. And when it was installed on my house, I was told the reason for it, it would eliminate someone have to come in for you to be home to come inside the house to read the meter. So the situation is now, I would like someone to check or whatever to find out why we are getting, well, I don't say we, I've gotten 2 or 3 back to May, I think, of last year, whatever, estimated bills. And I have an issue with that, because if it was supposed to eliminate that with having this gadget on the outside of your house, I should never get an estimated bill. So that's one of the things that you can look into when you check in with the water department.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. If you are okay with it, Ms. Johnson can look at your bill and we can find out what's happening. If there's any further comments? You got me.
Good evening. Trustee Mayor Pro Tem House, you spoke on this earlier, but just for clarity in the residents for us to have, because it seems like a lot of times we come up and complain or ask questions or just inquire, not complain, inquire about what's going on with our water and the water. Can somebody expound on the challenges that are going on in the water department so we can understand why we are having these issues and questions that we have?
I'll give my feedback on it. Some of the challenges are that we do not have automated readings, meaning that we cannot go out and just scan the whole block. Therefore, it requires getting into individuals' homes in order to get accurate readings. Mm-hmm. In the event that there's not an accurate reading, we will send out an estimated bill. That estimated bill can be sometimes too low, which means if we don't get in the house for, say, a year, then when they get the actual bill, it's going to be a lot higher. And sometimes the bill can be too high, which of course the residents would love. However, our estimated readings in most cases are lower, so they'll get it. So we need, in that sense, a cooperation, of course, with the residents, that if we're not getting into the house and the card that gets on there does not get turned in, that cooperation is making it more difficult. Having said that, the mayor and office have worked to get a loan, and if I understand it correctly, we have been approved for the loan, which will allow us within the next year to 2 years to get electronic readings for every home, which will allow us to get accurate readings as well as monthly billing instead of every 3-month billing. And a monthly billing will make it a lot easier for people to schedule their payments and things like that. Also, when you look at us being quarterly in the billing, the quarterly billing means if it's tough after 3 months, it's going to be even tougher after 6. And if something happened with the mail, God forbid, or the bill gets pushed to the side, then that person it may not trigger in their mind that I haven't paid it in 3 months because it's not one of your regular monthly bills. So I think that's some of the challenges coming forward, and as well as one of the solutions that the mayor and staff have been working on.
I got 2 points. I don't use my time. Well, questions. One, is there a number of, do we know the number of people that receive their bills late? And if, with that being said, will they face any actions or extra fees for paying late?
No.
Okay. The person the employee that sent that out late, is there a reason why they sent it out late? And also, will they face any disciplinary action for doing so?
Those are internal, like disciplinary, so we wouldn't speak on a person's discipline. However, I'm saying that we do expect all people to be held accountable, and there's a lot of accountability going on within the village.
Thank you.
Also, I want to add that we're working on the budget for our Sentinel newspaper, and I want maybe a center page article to explain to residents the difference between an accurate bill and an estimate bill. And because a lot of people still don't know if they have an accurate bill or estimated bill. So we have to do some improved marketing to educate the residents on estimated versus actual and vice versa.
How's everybody doing tonight? With that being said, that's perfect because it segued into what I was going to say. If we have all of these problems with the water that you guys have yet to iron out, or the accountability isn't there, why are we trying to impose shutoffs? That's something that we should, until you can figure out the system, then you need to pull back, especially if you're trying to add another day. Especially most people get paid on Friday, but they don't get off till 5 o'clock. So by the time they get off work to pay their bill, when they get their check, guess what? You can't pay it because the department is closed. Y'all take into consideration, somebody said it earlier, we owe the city of Chicago $9 million, $11 million, whatever it is. So when we talk about people not paying their bills, Dolton ain't paid their bill. Let's keep it real. So we quick to impose things on people that miss their bill, but if you making it harder for them to actually pay their bill, then it's tougher. And then you imposing penalties upon them. How is it that we got meter readers that we hired? All of these people, and like the lady just said, you getting an estimated bill. Where's the accountability? Where's the people that's supposed to make sure that the bill got sent out, even though the former supervisor missed it? It shouldn't have been pushed to the side. Somebody should have said, oh, she pushed to the side, well, let's push it out. Because there should have been somebody to watch over her to make sure it got done. That's the thing, accountability. Listen, I applaud everybody that won, but I'm going to be one that holds you accountable. Because I know you're going to hold me accountable when it comes to my tax dollar. I won't miss a payment. I just want to make sure I don't miss my services either.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if I can say, when we bring these things up, these are for discussion. So just because it's on the agenda does not necessarily mean that it's being imposed, and that's why we went to committee of the whole, so we can get board feedback as well as resident.
And I want to say, that's the benefit of the committee of the whole, that is this discussion. Now we start the discussion going, and now it's really coming to light the improvement that needs to happen now that we got the discussion going. So that's the benefits of the committee of the whole meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Two things. One that nobody's made any attention to is resolution number 19R-010. And I know the clerk just said this is not a question and answer session, but it's been inconsistent because sometimes questions have been answered. So this question is to the Committee of Finance, which is yourself, Mr. Trustee House, and the other two members. This TIF that was taken on, I want to give a website for everybody because I know we don't look at these TIFs, we don't look at the budgets, but there's a website I want everyone to go on to verify what I'm about to tell you. Of course, it's www.warehouse.illinoiscomptroller.com. And you will see the Village of Dolton's TIFs. You'll see the Indilux TIF, which is pertaining to tonight, the Sibley/Woodlawn TIF, and TIF number 1. Was money taken out of that TIF, which is why we're doing this creative book work, or as one trustee said, cleaning up our books, because money was taken out of the TIF to pay our bills? Is that what happened with TIF, the Indilux TIF?
There was no money transferred out of the TIF account. What did happen was over years, and this is going back to prior to Mayor Rogers' administration, we had one bank account for all of our funds to come in, which was our general account. So TIF money was going into there, as well as all of the tax money. It was all pulled together.
Understood.
When we,
okay, let me finish because I don't want to cheat up my time.
Yes, sir.
If you go on that website that I just mentioned to, if you go to the TIF that we're talking about, which is TIF number 3, the Indilux, in 2018 we had $1,463,979. Now with this creative bookkeeping, we're going to say that we're going to put over $900,000 back in what we call administration fees. Is that right? Administrative fees, is that right?
Correct.
And if you look at the chart that's been submitted by Mr. Kankar, and this is Mr. Kankar's bailiwick, so I can't challenge him on this. If you look at this here, there is no way that administration fees that you can retroactively go back to 2005 and say that we're going to take out bookkeeping, $55,000, and then amortize that all the way up to 2019, which hasn't happened yet, to $81,577.04. Everyone has this. You can look on the website that I just gave you to check it out. I know most people, when they hear about TIF, your eyes glaze over, but I want to jump quickly to the water. And I wasn't going to say anything about water, but when I heard this tonight, I had to. 80% of us pay our water bill. That is true. But I'm one of those residents that this young man, by the orders of the mayor, and I wrote this to a committee, and they know who they are. I didn't get a response. Thank you, Trustee House, for responding to my email. But we had the superintendent of water to shut off my water. I pay my bill. And my water was shut off, and I have proof of it because as someone stated that your bills is 6 months behind in that. Again, the record keeping in that department is abysmal.
Sir,
We cannot do what we're going to do because we can't even get our records to the collection department to collect monies because we don't have accurate records. I don't want to blame that on the previous administration. This is what's going on now. And as I forwarded my bill to this committee, that I got my bill last week, and it was due in May. And I'm in the 2nd district, so that means that my bill is past due now. So there's a likelihood that this young man, that's the superintendent of water, may cut off my water again. And as he said, when they told him that Trustee Muhammad's bill is not on that list, he said, well, if he would pay his bills, his water wouldn't get cut off. And I got someone that's going to have a testimony to that. So that's my issue with that. It's only one day, as opposed to collecting the money on Friday, collect it on Monday. It's only one day. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Website again is warehouse.illinoiscomptroller.com, and you'll see all of the TIF and our finances on the website. That has to be filed by the mayor and the attorney and the auditing firm of Lauterbach and Amon.
Good evening, trustees, administrators, Village of Dolton. My concern would be on the resolution, as Mr. Muhammad spoke on. You've already addressed that, and he's given us the website. But also the nuisance definition, I thank you guys for taking it to the committee because there is a problem, and I think Trustee Denton, as well as House, you talked about the definition. Taking it to committee will define driveway. And I had a question. Trustee Steve, were you asking, did someone say add driveways to, alleys to that? I'm trying to get a clarification. Or,
Look at alleys as well.
so you want to add alleys to that ordinance?
It goes to committee, we'll talk about it, we'll look at it.
Okay, so the committee meeting will be posted. That's all I want to know. Because I think you need to be very careful. We need to be very careful because, like you say, the driveway is private property. I don't know if you want to go to the alleys, but understand people are trying to make a living. And I'm not trying to say be a nuisance, but all in respect of your neighbors and your community. So I thank you guys for taking it to committee. And rescinding the order of shut off. Once again, please understand that you, Trustee Steve said 60 days or 90 days or whatever you stated, but you have to understand quarterly the bills come out. Now, we didn't say anything about the bills being late getting to the residents. We have to take everything into consideration. People have hardships. I know someone that lost their job. So if I lost my job and I have an issue with income, then I'm not purposely not wanting to pay, and I do understand that there are payment arrangements allowed. But you guys need to understand the human heart. I want everyone up there to put themselves in that predicament. I think that one day should not make a difference. We have to put ourselves, isn't that what the Word of God said? Treat others the way you want to be treated. And I understand that. Understanding that we must be compassionate because you never know what will hit you because you're not guaranteed the next day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. An important point for anybody listening. CETA does do assistance with water bills. Thank you for that input as well.
Good evening. I just wanted to echo what was already being said. I think that this part of the meeting is for the residents to voice their opinion. If we don't take advantage of this, then our elected officials may not understand what we want. So I'm going to stand up and say that I agree with everyone that said we should take it back to committee, should put a process together, because with a plan, you're held accountable to the plan that you put together. Right now, it doesn't sound like we have a plan. And that just doesn't go for the water department. It should be all the departments. I think that we struggle with a lot in our village. We don't have a housing plan, but we have a lot of ideas. I sent each one of the trustees a copy of a plan. It's just a shell, but I've heard nothing back. But if we don't address what's really wrong in our village, we're going to perish. And there's no comments about the TIF. Now, I'm not as versed in it as some people are, but I think that we should wake up and ask the questions, because the elected officials are making decisions for us. And when those committee meetings happen, we all need to be present. Because if you don't understand it, you can ask a question. Because if we stay in ignorance, then they're going to do whatever they want to do to us. So I'm in ECHO, take everything to committee. Let's put a plan together that's going to work, and please consider what the residents are saying, because our tax dollars run this village. Okay.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, with that being stated, may I ask for a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. If you don't mind, please call the roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can bear with me for one moment while I call the roll so I can hear. Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 9:02. 8:02. I'm so used.
We out of here.